Hello, it's December 2024. Accuse others of things that you're guilty of. It's a very famous old phrase. It's very true. It's very true, for example, with my story in Calgary, Alberta, with everything that transpired, everything that I was accused of are the very things that the accusers were guilty of. But I'm going to approach this, for example, from a different angle. More to do with, for example, social engineering, social conditioning. And I'm going to use feminism as a prime example. It's been a while since I've talked about feminism. And I've said in videos for over a decade that I'm not a feminist. Feminism is the beta and omega females competing with the alpha females, because alpha females don't need feminism. But I'm also going to segue just for a moment to highlight how we see the same thing, for example, with the incel movement from a male's perspective. The beta and omega males competing with the alpha males. In both scenarios, it's an artificial elevation. Now, how does this tie in with my opening statement? Well, we see, for example, how feminism has vilified males more and more, to the point where you have women, for example, hating, even writing posters and stuff saying, terminate all men. We don't need men. That's how bad it's gotten. But the focus here is on what women in today's world blame men for, are the very things that they do themselves. And I've highlighted, for example, how it's more common, for example, women to be attracted to young adult teenagers and even young prepubescent children, how they commit at higher rates violence at home, workplace, and everything else, and the list goes on. It's gotten so crazy with feminism is that you have women advocating for the murder of babies. It's completely gone off the rails. And I've highlighted over the years and even mentioned in videos, whether it be vocally or through overlays, how women have become the perverts in society, yet they blame men for doing so. And their perversions they carry into society, for example, with how they dress, or in some cases, being completely naked, literally, in public, perhaps with body paint, and expect men and society overall, including women, to deal with it. It's completely unnatural. Now, I'm just going to segue for a moment. My being a nudist or a former nudist when I was younger, going to nudist camps and so forth, in that type of environment, when everyone has no clothes, you, as a descriptive, become desensitized to no clothes, because no one has clothes. But if you're in an atmosphere where, or a place where everyone is clothed and somebody isn't, they stand out, and perhaps thoughts and everything else come to mind, which wouldn't happen, for example, in a nudist camp. Now, just going to say, if somebody came into a nudist camp clothed because maybe it's their first time, they're nervous, they stand out, and even thoughts of, come around. So this is just contrasting two different completely worlds. Now, going back to the vilification of men, we see how, for example, feminism has created this huge imbalance in society where women, whether they be naked in public or practically naked in public, expect others to react in what they would call proper manner, and heaven forbid if a man glances twice or a little bit too long, they are vilified, saying, see what men are like? They created the scenario themselves. It's crazy. Women wanted perceived freedom, not realizing that they've already had freedom since the beginning, and they've had control since the beginning, a different type of control. And I've highlighted, for example, how women think that being a debt slave to someone who has no care about them, to work in an environment, regardless of the environment, which is unnatural, contrasting that to a home environment and having to meet deadlines and pressures and everything else. Women have been brainwashed to see that as some sort of freedom, whereas historically this was and still is the sacrifice men give for their families, to become a debt slave for someone else who doesn't care about them, working in unnatural environments, most times in dangerous environments, high stress environments which put their health at risk. But women have been brainwashed to think that living that is freedom. Unbelievable. So I just really want to bring some attention to this particular topic because, again, it's something that I've discussed over the years, and I thought I would just revisit it, but really give it some thought on how crazy the world has become. And I'm just going to finish off by saying, and this is no disrespect to women at all, but women biologically go through hormonal changes, we'll call it, every month. And this makes them unpredictable sometimes. And when women are in positions of authority, for example, and power, is that something that is desired by society overall? Some controversy, I know I'm going to upset some people with this video, but it's a reality. Men and women are biologically different. And I'm going to close off by saying, there's an old saying I remember when I was young, where it was said that a man sleeping with a woman, having sex, is sleeping with every other man that they slept with. And then feminism spun that around, saying, well, it's the same for men, but it's not, because women, biologically, are designed to accept genetic material from men. And I've highlighted, for example, how scientists and researchers have done autopsies on women and found foreign DNA in their soft tissue. And the more men a woman has had, the more different foreign DNA is found. Not the same for men. So perhaps people from the days of old knew something that has been forgotten or erased, inconvenient. at the end of the day, sex is about procreation, not recreation. This is not state or imply that sex cannot be enjoyed. Anyway, just things to think about. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.
Listen to this and write it down if you can't remember it. You're never going to outgrow warfare. You simply must learn to fight. I hear people saying to me, oh, when is it going to get easier? When you die.